If you want to think like a clear, practical thinker, one who sees more of the field than most, start here. Mental models are the lenses top decision-makers use to avoid predictable mistakes and spot high-leverage opportunities. By the end of this video, you'll have 7 concrete mental models you can apply today, plus a simple exercise to practice them. Grab the one-page Mental Models cheat sheet in the description and keep it beside you while you watch. Mental models are compact, transferable tools for thinking. They're not rules of life. They are lenses borrowed from physics, economics, psychology, and history that, when applied correctly, change what you notice and how you act. Think of them as a toolbox. A hammer doesn't fix every problem, but knowing when to use a hammer is the difference between wasted effort and useful work. Start with Occam's razor, because it's the simplest gateway. Occam's razor favors the explanation with the fewest assumptions. In engineering, it means prefer the simplest design that works. In social situations, it's a useful default. But beware, human systems often involve multiple interacting causes, so simplicity is a starting point, not the final verdict. Now, step up a level. Sometimes the most dramatic results happen when several simple forces pull in the same direction. This is the Lollapalooza effect, when multiple biases, incentives, and habits align to produce an outsized outcome. One of the clearest nonviolent examples combines conditioned responses with social pressure. Pavlovian conditioning describes how repeated pairing of a stimulus and reward creates automatic responses. Combine that with coordinated social signals, status cues, repeated rituals, emotional escalation, and people's behavior can shift in ways that feel almost automatic. This is not a how-to for manipulation, it's a how-to for awareness. When you see multiple levers being pulled at once, the Lollapalooza effect is likely at work. A business example of converging forces is pricing as a signal. A product of high quality sold too cheaply can read as low quality. In one documented small business case, a maker named Bill Bauhaus found that incrementally raising price while preserving experience actually increased sales volume and customer satisfaction. The increased price changed the signal. Buyers treated the product as premium, and sales rose because perceived value aligned with user expectations. That's not magic. It's signaling combined with social proof and the human tendency to use price as a proxy for quality. Below are the mental models you should internalize first. For each, a short definition, a concrete example, and a quick action tip. Occam's razor, preference for simpler explanations with fewer assumptions. Example, if a machine stops, check the power switch and fuse before redesigning the control board. Action tip, ask, what is the simplest explanation that fits the facts? And test it first. Incentives, people respond to rewards and penalties. Incentives shape behavior predictably. Example, a commission-only sales plan increases effort, but can also encourage short-term, risky deals. Action tip, before designing any system, ask, who benefits and how might they game it? Pavlovian conditioning. Habits, repeated pairing of cues and rewards produces automatic responses. Example, notification badges trigger repeated phone checks even if the content is unimportant. Action tip, identify the cue routine reward loop in your habits and experiment with changing one element. Signaling, actions or attributes that communicate hidden qualities to observers. Example, A high price on a wine list signals rarity or quality, influencing choices. Action tip. Consider what your choices signal to others and whether that aligns with your goals. Feedback loops. Outputs of a system that loop back as inputs, amplifying or stabilizing behavior. Example, positive feedback. More users attract more users. Negative feedback. High prices reduce demand until equilibrium. Action tip. Map the basic feedback loops in any project and identify whether they're reinforcing or stabilizing. Opportunity cost. Every choice forgoes the next best alternative. Costs are relative. Example, accepting a long-term project prevents you from taking a faster, higher return gig. Action tip. Always name the top 2 alternatives before deciding. Second-order thinking. Consider the downstream consequences of your actions. Example, cutting costs by outsourcing may lower quality and harm your brand later. Action tip. Ask what happens next. At least 2 steps beyond the immediate effect. Circle of competence. Know the boundaries of what you understand well and what you don't. Example, an investor avoids industries they can't evaluate and focuses on a narrow set where they have insight. Action tip. Rate your confidence and limit important decisions to areas with high competence or partner with experts. Lollapalooza effect. Multiple causes pulling in the same direction lead to extreme outcomes. Example, a viral product that benefits from novelty, social proof, influencer endorsement, and price signaling explodes in growth. Action tip. Look for combinations of models acting together whenever outcomes surprise you. Bayesian updating. Change your beliefs as new evidence arrives. Weight evidence by credibility. Example, a new study suggests a drug works better than thought. You update probability of effectiveness rather than flip to certainty. Action tip. Convert strong cases into probability estimates and update them when credible new data appears. Those models are tools. The real power comes from applying 2 or 3 of them together. Here are 2 deeper practical dives to show how models combine and how to use them as diagnostics. First deep dive. Pavlovian conditioning meets social dynamics. Imagine an organization that uses a daily ritual, meetings that start with public praise, quick wins, and exclusive rewards. Over time, employees form habits. Anticipation of praise becomes a cue, and the routine of performing for the group becomes the reward. Add an incentive structure that rewards visible metrics, and you've layered habit, incentives, and social proof. The result can be high engagement, but also conformity and reduced critical thinking. The lesson for a leader or participant is to monitor whether rituals produce adaptive behavior or merely ritualistic compliance. If you're on the inside, ask, which rewards are shaping behavior? If you're evaluating the group, ask, which incentives could be creating blind spots? Second deep dive, pricing and signaling, the Bill Bauhaus case. When a maker raises price, 3 models often activate. Signaling, price communicates quality. Incentives, higher margins allow better support or design. And social proof, higher status attracts a different customer. Bill Bauhaus's experience shows how a price increase paired with improved presentation realigned buyer expectations and led to healthier metrics. For entrepreneurs, the action is simple. Test small price moves and observe whether perceived value tracks with actual customer satisfaction. Don't assume lower price is always better. Sometimes it makes the product harder to sell. How to build this into your life? A practical routine. 1. Read widely and deliberately. Rotate among books on psychology, economics, biology, engineering, and history. Each discipline offers distinct models. The point is breadth. Ideas you borrow from one field often explain puzzles in another. 2. Keep a model's notebook. For each model, write the name, a one-line definition, and one real-world example you observed. Update it weekly. 3. Run micro-experiments. Small, low-cost tests are how you convert models from theory to habit. Price tests, wording A/B tests, or a habit tweak for 2 weeks gives you evidence you can actually learn from. 4. Use a checklist before big decisions. Ask, what incentives are present? What feedback loops matter? What is the opportunity cost? Which model would change my conclusion if I apply it? 5. Practice combination thinking. For your next decision, pick 3 models and explicitly apply them. This reduces single-cause errors and surfaces interactions. Here's a simple exercise to do this week. Pick one decision, maybe whether to accept a freelance contract, raise your product price, or hire a freelancer. Apply 3 models: incentives, opportunity cost, and second-order thinking. Step A. Write down the immediate facts. Step B. Ask who benefits under the current proposal, incentives. Step C. List the top 2 alternatives you'd forego, opportunity cost. Step D. Predict 2 downstream effects if you accept the plan, second-order thinking. Step E. Make a preliminary decision and run a small test if possible. A few necessary caveats. Mental models improve your probabilistic thinking. They don't eliminate uncertainty. They increase the chance you'll notice important factors, but they don't guarantee outcomes. Also, some phenomena you'll study are ethically fraught. Manipulation tactics, coercive persuasion, or corrupt incentives exist. Study those to recognize and guard against them, not to deploy them. If an example involves bribery or illegal action, treat it as a cautionary signal and condemn the practice. Never present such tactics as legitimate strategies. Finally, humility pays. A good thinker knows what she knows and what she doesn't. Combine curiosity with skepticism. Test your ideas. Update your beliefs with new evidence. That's the practical legacy of the mental models approach. Instead of a single skill, you accumulate a lattice of tools that make mistakes less likely and good outcomes more probable. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Collect a small set of robust models. Practice applying them in the real world and deliberately combine them. That's how you turn scattered knowledge into a reliable edge. If this resonated, subscribe and download the full mental models checklist from the link in the description. Commit to using one model this week on a decision, and next week, add another. The compounding effect of steady practice is where the real power lives.